Hello, children. I hope all of you all are keeping well. Today, we will continue with the second chapter of history, that is, Rise of Dynasties. In this, we will study about the Deccan Sultanate, administration of various kingdoms, prashastis, land grants, and architectures. Deccan Sultanate children were the five late medieval kingdoms on the Deccan Plateau between the Krishna River and the Vindhya Range. It was ruled by the Muslim dynasties. They were the Ahmednagar, Birar, Bidar, Bijapur, and Golconda. The sultanates had become independent during the breakup of Bahmani Sultanate. Okay. Deccan Sultanate. The Bahmani dynasty was founded in 1347 by Bahman Shah, also known as Alauddin I, who was an officer of Delhi Sultanate. Please underline. Children, please underline the places where it has already been underlined. Several successful rulers followed the dynasty, lasted till 1538. So it was founded in 1347 and it lasted in 1538. In 1490, Muhammad Bahmani was defeated and Malik Ahmad declared himself independent, thus starting the Nizam Shahi dynasty. Shah Jahan annexed the empire in 1637. In 1489, Yusuf Adil Khan, governor of Bijapur, founded the Adil Shah dynasty. His descendant Ibrahim Adil Shah was married to Chand Bibi, daughter of Hussain Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, as a part of alliance. The sultans combined forces annexed Vijayanagara Empire after the battle at Talikota. Chand Bibi took charge of the empire after the death of her husband. So Chand Bibi also ruled the place. In 1680, Bijapur was annexed by Aurangzeb. So underline this part also, children. 1680, Bijapur was annexed by Aurangzeb. The Qutub Shahi dynasty was founded in 1518. Underline this. Qutub Shahi dynasty was founded in 1518 AD by Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah, a governor of Golconda. His successors ruled till it was annexed by Aurangzeb in 1687 AD. Okay? Administration in various kingdoms. Several of the new kings adopted titles like Maharaja Adhiraja, Great King, Overlord of Kings. Okay, Maharaja Adhiraja is known as the Great King or Overlord of Kings. Tribhuvana Chakravartin, Lord of Three Worlds. Tribhuvan means three worlds. However, they often shared power with their nobles as well as with representative associations of peasants, traders, and Brahmanas. So they had an association with whom all? The peasant traders and the Brahmanas. In all these kingdoms, resources were obtained directly from the producers who were often forced to give part of their produce. Now, the resources which the producers used to produce was forced to give to these people. Sometimes these were taken as rent due to the lord who claimed rent for the land. Sorry, children. Revenue was also collected from traders of all goods. Okay, revenue was also collected from all traders. That means money was also collected from all traders. for all the goods. All such collected resources were used to fund the ruler's administrative setup as well as to construct new temples and forts. The money which was collected, it was used for the construction of making forts and temples. These resources were also needed for fighting wars. Also, they used for fighting wars. These wars were necessary to acquire more wealth through plunder and gaining control over large areas of land as well as important trade routes. Now, children, they use this money for temples, forts of construction, temples and forts, also for the warriors who were fighting in the wars. Okay, now let us see this. The Chola inscriptions in Tamil Nadu tells us about the more than 400 different kinds of taxes. The most common were the taxes called Veti and Kadamai. Veti was a form of tax taken as forced labor, and Kadamai was the tax levied on land. One was the land tax and one was the forced labor tax. Apart from these, there were taxes on thatching the house. The thatching the house means when you make the roof of the house with hay. The use of ladder to climb up palm trees as well as chess on the succession to the family property and so on. Cess means taxes. Now, the Prashastis and the land grants. Prashastis were writings which contains details that may not be literally true. So, what are Prashastis? Prashastis were the writings, but they tell us how rulers wanted to depict themselves. For example, a valiant, victorious warriors. Valiant means brave. They wanted to portray themselves as brave, conquering warriors. Okay? They were composed by learned Brahmanas who occasionally helped in the administration. The Brahmanas were often rewarded with land grants by their kings. These land grants were recorded on copper plates. The king would reward a Brahman with a copper plate granting him rights to the specific piece of land. Now, children, this was the documentation which was done on the copper plate, and it was also a proof that the Brahman got that land, a specific piece of land from the king. Social conditions under the various dynasties. The region along the coast in the south were engaged in trade either with the Roman Empire in the west or with the Southeast Asia in east. A large number of Arab traders and Muslim trading communities established themselves along the coast of the South India. Now, why the coast of the South India? Because it used to be easy for them to travel through the water body. Okay. The Vijayanagara Empire was known for its efficient administration and progressive trade practices. They were tolerant of various religion. The Bhakti movement was also very prominent. The Vijayanagara rulers followed administrative methods developed by early dynasties of South with the mirror changes. Okay, children, the Bhakti movement. This is again a religious movement where people are directly they worship the god. Okay. In bhakti, there is no mediator between God and the person. It is the direct relation between the person and God. Okay? Sorry. The king was the authority. He had a cabinet of ministers, pradhanas, headed by the mahapradhanas or the prime ministers. Please underline from here. The king was the authority. He had a cabinet of ministers, pradhanas, who were known as pradhanas. So the ministers were known as pradhanas. Headed by the mahapradhanas or the prime ministers. Military training was compulsory for high ranking officials. Again, underline. All official documents and records require the seal of the ring of the king. So the seal was the ring of the king. The empire was divided into five administrative provinces. Underline. Or the Rajyas, each governed by the commander, Dandanayak, who was a member of royal family. For effective governance, native language of the region was used. So they used the common language, which is the native language, like Hindi or Bengali is the native language of ours. The economy was agricultural based. It also had a large market for precious gems and gold. Trade was carried on with overseas empires. There was an efficient tax system. In spite of caste system being strictly followed, there was social mobility. Untouchability was practiced. The Rashtrakutas were known for their religious tolerance and their patronage of literature and education. Now, children, the caste system is about the four Varnas. The Brahmins were in the higher positions, then the Kshatriyas, then the Vaishyas, and then the Shudras. Okay? The low caste were the untouchables. Okay? Under Muslim ruler, the administration was less tolerant. Their objective was to loot the treasure and wealth of the kingdom and domination of masses. So, admi- uh, what was about the rulers of the Muslims? Their object was to loot the treasure and the wealth of the kingdom, and they wanted to dominate the masses. The early Muslim invaders like Muhammad of Ghazni attacked India 17 times with a sole intention of looting the rich and wealthy temples, including the Somnath temple. The later Muslim rulers stayed back in India and used the wealth for their own benefit, like increasing their military might, building strong forts and magnificent monuments. Most of them kept the population under their control. They destroyed temples and educational institutions. The Muslim rulers were not very tolerant towards other religion, and hence there were instances of people being pushed behind. Rulers like Aurangzeb, who were fanatics, forcibly converted many people to Islam. Now, children from other religion, they were forced to convert themselves into Islam. Okay, in the rule of Aurangzeb. Sufism also gained acceptance in society with Sufi saints like Khwaja Mohyuddin Chishti and Hazrat Nizam Uddin Aulia, spreading their mystical and spiritual form of Islam. Sufi is another movement, religious movement. Here also, like Bhakti movement, it is the direct connection with the God, the devotee, and the uh, is the direct connection with the God. Okay, and the two main saints are Khwaja Mohiddin Chishti and Hazrat Nizam Uddin Aulia. Okay, architecture and fine arts. The Gujara Pratihara style of temples building can be seen in temples at Khajuraho, Ocean, and Kotha. The Vijayanagara legacy can be seen in various locations spread all over South India, predominantly at Hampi. Their architecture style combined both the Deccan and the Dravidian ideas and was influenced by all faiths. The temples constructed by Badami Chalukyas are a mixture of northern Nagara style and Dravidian style from south. Temples were inscribed, sorry, temples were inspired by prevalent religion and their beliefs. Both Kannada and Telugu developed under the Chalukyas. These are the languages Chalukyas and Vijayanagara Empire. Sculpture, music, and dance also flourished under these dynasties. The present form of Carnatic music evolved in Vijayanagara Empire. The carving of monolithics is very typical of the Vijayanagara style. For example, the Gomteshwara statue of Karkala or Nandi Bull of Lipaksi. Most of the rulers were patrons of art and architecture, though not all of them contributed as much as the Mughals. The Mughals introduced the art and architecture of Central Asia in India. The monuments, palaces, tombs, and forts constructed by them reflect the amalgamation of Persian and Indian art and culture, with strong influence of Rajput style of architecture. The Mughal craftsmen can be seen, the Mughal craftsmanship can be seen in monuments all over northern India. The Taj Mahal is one of the wonders of the world. Underline this. Sesha Suri is credited with the construction of the longest highway covering the country known as Grand Trunk Road today. Okay, children, so we all know who constructed the Grand Trunk Road. It is Sesha Suri. So we come to an end of this chapter. Okay, here in China, the Tang Empire is its capital at Xi'an was administered by set of bureaucrats who were recruited through an examination. Anyone who wished to appear it would it could do so. This system of selecting officials remained in place with some changes till 1911. Okay, children, we come to an end of this chapter. Thank you so much. Take care and bye.